Okay, guys. So we've got a kind of a tedious maintenance-related quick update we got to do here. After installing all of that, getting it all running, you can see our power is getting pretty close to maxing out. Now, off camera, I did a few things real quick. I added some processing to give us some more sulfuric acid because we were hurting on sulfuric acid. We were getting a little, crunched up with this sulfuric wastewater, so I added a void so that we can get this moving, and I screwed up over here. Where is it? Right here. This line that taps off and feeds all of the furnaces, I had it coming off of this line here. And that meant that when this train car went empty, this all cut off. I should have come straight out of the warehouse, and I did not. So I have fixed that. Made a few other little odds and ends tweaks, nothing major. I will update the save file so that is all kind of reflective of where we stand right now. But right now we got one of two choices. We can either add more steam engines, or we can upgrade the steam engines that we've got. And we're going to do an upgrade, because the steam engines we got are these steam engine 2s, and they generate 1.8 megawatts. We can actually upgrade the steam engine 4s, but we can't upgrade our boilers in order to take advantage of steam engine 4s. So we're going to upgrade the steam engine 2s, which is 2.7 megawatts, which is about 0.9 megawatts more. It's going to give us more overhead on our power generation, and then ultimately when we upgrade to the 4s, we can use the 3s to do it. So I have 10 steam engines and 10 boilers, and we are going to go through and systematically replace all of these. So we'll do the first 10, and then we'll build and do the next 10, and so on and so forth. Right? So now we got 510. And while we're waiting on that, we can do the boilers. And then we can do 10 boilers. And we'll get as many of these as we can before we run out of resources here. And it looks like we have, all right, 510. So that's that row. $510. That row, 510, 10 boilers. I should have looked at what our capability was. I guess I can go back and look later at the video and see 510, 10, so that we can kind of get an idea of what our capability has been upgraded to. I should have done that and I didn't. 5. I made a bunch of brass pipes, but apparently it was not enough. Hopefully we brought enough brass with us. 510. 10, because I think we have 20 more to replace. Maybe more than that. We'll see. Yeah, we're getting low on the brass plate. We're going to probably have to go get some more. In fact, what we will do is we'll go through a couple more, and then we'll run down and get them. So there's 10. There's 10. So 5, 10. You can tell the tone of the speed has changed so significantly, so we have definitely made a big difference on these. Alright, while we are waiting on this, let's run over and get some more brass real quick. We're going to need it. I could get the robots to deliver it to me, but the robots are relatively slow. Where is brass coming from? Alright, so that's the brass line. Alright, it looks like we're going to want to take it off of the bus because it looks like we're hurting for brass. So where we stand, we got 10 and 10. Let's run down and grab this real quick. Alright, I think that's enough. Put these back in here so that they go back on the line. That may be enough to get us through most of it. Ten more of those. How are we looking? We got 2 plants left to do. So 40, 80 steam engines and 20, 30 boilers. I could have pre-made them, but then that would have left us with a whole bunch of level 2s that we would have had to store until the next time. So by doing it this way, we're only going to end up with 10 and 10 for the next upgrade. what's really funny is I pre-made a ton of bearings and gears and what have you, and it still was nowhere near enough. $10, $10, $20. All right, so we need 20 more boilers. We got 10 in the queue. We need 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 more steam engines. That is one thing I do like with this mod, is that it carries the upgrades way farther than the vanilla game, as far as like your steam engines and stuff like that. So you can become more and more and more efficient without having to rip everything out and redo or relocate or expand or what have you. And I really do kind of like that. It's kind of nice not having to get too crazy about, you know, huge buildings. Everybody likes to build these mega bases and they're cool looking. But with this, you can have almost the same effect just by upgrading. You can increase your production by so much. And I like that. I think that's kind of cool. I enjoy it. It doesn't necessarily get repetitive either, because as you upgrade things like your metal production, it adds processes to it. One of the things that I found with space exploration is it got repetitive because even though you were upgrading, and even though you had new science processes, or you were making a new kind of science, all of them were basically cookie cutters of the same process. So to me, it kind of got repetitive, and that's kind of one of the reasons I backed away from it. It just didn't feel like I was accomplishing anything other than just kind of going through the motions, and I got bored with it. Now there has been an update to space exploration at this point. So I don't know what all they've changed. It might be interesting to go back and revisit it. It might not. For the time being, I am sticking with Seablock. Now, that being said, on the side, I goofed around a bit with Industrial Revolution just to kind of get a feel for it, and it seems like an interesting mod. So I might or I might not at some point do a second series and do a series on Industrial Revolution. You know, if you guys are interested, let me know. It is another one of these mods that adds a whole bunch of processes to things. you very much start out in like the steam age. So unlike this where it's steam engines for electricity, all of your stuff is literally run with steam. So you have to get boilers to create steam and then run the steam into your factories to run your factories. So it takes you up, basically up through all the stages of industry. I thought it was kind of neat. It does get a little tedious. It is in some ways another AFK mod in that you are waiting and twiddling your thumbs for certain things. There are people that are faster on those sorts of things than I am because, you know, their brain functions to be capable of building en masse and just adding. And I don't build huge en masse installations. I build smaller, but I keep progressing forward, if that makes sense in the difference between the two. And ultimately, it may, I don't know, it may make it slower for me, so I have to wait longer because I'm not producing huge amounts of, say, iron plates. I'm producing what I need. And then I'm going from there, whereas some people just build huge, right off the bat, smelting operations and what have you, so they're prepared for the expansion. I don't know. Maybe somebody else would go through it. In other words, maybe somebody else would go through that mod a lot faster than I do. But that being said, it is an interesting mod. It's just a slow mod. In my opinion, it's a little slow, or potentially a little slow. All right, so 10, 20, 30. We got 10 in the queue, so we're going to need 20 more. Hopefully, see, I don't think we got enough brass still. I think we're going to have to go get some more brass. Let's go get some more brass, just to be safe. And then at some point we're going to have to look at why our brass is not coming down the pike anymore. We may have something blocked up somewhere. And if we do, we'll go find it. Oh no, look. Brass is coming down. What's not coming down? Oh, I think that's a blank one. I think we're okay. My bad. All right, so last 20, and then we can look and see what our capability is, and then I can go back later and look at this video and compare the two. You guys will be able to do it right away. I actually have to wait until I edit the video to be able to do it. So we're almost there. But you can definitely, at this point, hear a change in the tone of the power plant. That was one thing, even working in a real one with a real job, with my old job, without even looking at the plant. You know, if I was wandering around on a base camp somewhere, our power plants were loud enough you could hear them quite a ways off, and you could kind of tell just from walking around, and if you listened, just how things were going on the at the plant, and how things were going on the base camp, just by the sound of the power plant in the distance. It's you get an ear for it. And there were times, like when I was in when I first went to Egypt, before I was actually stationed there, we went to Bright Star 95, which was an exercise in the desert, and when we ran a power plant and powered the whole base camp. And there were times you'd be sitting in the chow hall eating lunch, and you knew there was a problem at the plant before the power went out in the chow hall or whatever, that you were up and already running for the power plant to help out the guys that were on shift, even before anybody else on the post knew there was a problem. There are definitely things about the military that I miss, and there are things that I don't miss. But those sorts of things, the work is definitely something I miss. I got into a conversation the other day, or not the other day, like yesterday, as a matter of fact, about teaching, and it's the same thing. I loved to teach. I didn't like the other things that go along with teaching. And now that I'm not teaching anymore, I do miss it. But I don't miss the other stuff. Okay, so there we are. It is completely upgraded to level 3s. And it's definitely slowed down quite a bit. Let's see where we're at. Oh, yeah. We're at half of our production capability now, whereas before we were right at the edge. So that is awesome sauce. All right, guys. So I know, kind of a boring video, but it was one that had to be done. How is our fuel looking? Everybody is getting fuel. Now that should cover us for a long time to come. So next episode, we got all this mess straightened out. We can start training the stuff and bringing it over and start working on our technologies. We're not going to snag the new techs until we get through all of these, which will be in the next video, and we'll go from there. I'm going to let the plant run for a while and let it build up resources. We are getting there on our resources, especially like the iron and the copper. Now, some of the other ones, like the gold, for instance, I have been coming over and grabbing gold and bringing it over for the research, so that's a little low, but it is all getting there. Everything seems to be running nicely. Nothing's backed up. But at the same time, it seems like everybody is happily supplied. We may have some slowdowns in our slag production, but overall, I think everything's going all right. And I think where that comes in is in our... Oh, wait. Have we slowed down on... Oh. Look at that. We have blown through all of our geode. So we're going to have to go over and look at that. We may have to add some more grinders to the process. I think we got enough room. We can add one more to each of these. Let's go over here and look and see how our slag production is doing. Okay, well, it's keeping up. It seems that we have just basically run through our availability of ground geodes. So we're going to have to maybe increase that. All right. But that's next episode, guys. I will see you soon. All right, take care. Bye.